Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tesis Dibra Maskal, Yitzias HaShabbos Shtayim Shein Arba. Let's begin. Yitzias HaShabbos, carrying on Shabbos, Shtayim Shein Arba are two cases that are four. Here, Tesis will ask, why does Masechta Shabbos begin with the dinim of carrying of Eitzah? And he'll present three answers. So let's see Tesis inside. Hiksha Riva asked, the din Eitzah is Shabbos, that the dinim of carrying on Shabbos, Hoyalei L'Shanis, he should have taught Gabi Avos Malachas with the Avos Malachas. They should have been taught together with the Avos Malachas, since Eitzah is one of the Avos Malachas, which is Acher Perek Klal Gadol Kaman, after Perek Klal Gadol later on to Hasam, because over there in Perek Klal Gadol Katani Avos Malachas Mem Chaser Achas, he teaches that there are 39 Avos Malachas. For Katani Eitzah LeBeseif, and he teaches a carrying last. So the dinim of Eitzah should have been taught after Perek Klal Gadol. In Perek Klal Gadol, the Tana tells us what the 39 Avos Malachas are, and then Eitzah needs to be described what it is. It should be described after the Mishnah in Perek Klal Gadol. And how should have Masechta Shabbos been arranged? Says Tosfos, V'havalei lahaschil keseder, and he should have began in order. And we'll just point out over here that this is actually how Masechta Shabbos is arranged. The way Tosfos is going to say it should be arranged, except for our Mishnah. The rest of Masechta Shabbos, if we look at it, we'll see follows this order, and that is b'dvarim d'mayir be'erev Shabbos mi'be'edim, with things that are related to Erev Shabbos while it's day. Tosfos is going to point out that the order of the Masechta should follow the chronology. First start with Erev Shabbos while it's still day, then Erev Shabbos right by nighttime, and then things on Shabbos itself. And Tosfos now is going to give the examples. Kigain, for example, a tailor shouldn't go out with his needle close to nighttime because he might come to carry it on Shabbos. And ein sharim dvevis amanim, one may not soak ink and dyes in Erev Shabbos while it's still day. Ve'ein selin basar, one may not roast meat. So first start with the things that relate to Erev Shabbos while it's still day. Va'achar kach, and afterwards b'mem madlikim, which is Perek Sheni. With what does one light the Shabbos candles? V'kira, which is Perek Shlishi. U'v'met taimnim, which is Perek Revi, which are the program that speaks about an oven and a muk and one cover of foods, which are dinim of keeping something hot on Shabbos. Shehim dvarim hanoegim im chashecha. These are things that are performed right by nighttime. It's right before Shabbos. Lighting candles needs to be done, keeping things warm on Shabbos. Va'achar kach, and afterwards b'mem behema, which is Perek Chamishi. Tosfos says, "B'mem behema uva me'isha yotza." With what can an animal and woman go out? What are they allowed to wear that's considered a garment, and what's considered carrying? Which these are dvarim hanoegim b'Shabbos atzmei, things that are done on Shabbos itself. They're not dinim about Shabbos; they're things that are actually done on Shabbos. So that should have been the order. First things that are done, or rules related to Erev Shabbos while it's still day, then rules that are related to Erev Shabbos right by nighttime, and then things that are related to Shabbos itself. V'shuv avos malachos shel Shabbos, and then the avos malachos of Shabbos, which are isurim that a person has to avoid doing. So that should have been the order. And now Tosfos is going to support his question by bringing two precedences to this. V'derech hatana l'shanas kasei, and it's the manner of the Tana to teach in this order, in order of chronology. Like we find in Psachim, that speaks about Pesach, the Maschil Belil Yudalad, that starts with the night of Yudalad, V'shuv B'Yudalad, then Yudalad, he speaks about B'dikas Chametz, which is the night of Yudalad, V'shuv B'Shchitas Psachim, then with the Shchita of the Pesach, Shehu Bein Arvayim, which is in the afternoon of Erev Pesach, and afterwards he teaches about eating the Pesach, which is at night. So it goes in order of chronology, and the things that are actually on Pesach itself are later on. So to here, the things that are actually related to Shabbos itself should be later on. And also in Yuma, which speaks about Yom Kippur, he starts with 7 days before Yom Kippur that the Kohen Gadol is separated from his house, and afterwards with Erev Yom Kippur, and afterwards the night of Yom Kippur. So that's Tosfos' question, with the support that the Tana should have had placed Hitzah later on, and the correct order should have been in order of chronology. And now Tosfos is going to is going to give three answers to this question. V'tiritz, and Rivo himself answered, the Hitzah chaviv le'lagdume, that carrying is dear to him to place it first. That we're not keeping the order of chronology. The other Mishnayos of Masechta Shabbos fit the order of chronology. Hitzah was taken out of this order because it's dear to the Tana to place it first. And the reason is Mishum de Mishnah zu shaminam kamadvarim, because from this Mishnah we learn many things. So that's the whole answer, that Hitzah is dear to the Tana to place it first because we learn many things from it. And therefore he's not keeping the order of chronology. And now Tosfos is going to support this answer and explain this answer by telling us what are the many things we learn in this Mishnah. And these are the things that the Gemara will discuss. Hitzah v'achnasa, the ani v'asher, carrying in and carrying out of the poor man and the rich man. And that we require an akira and a hanacha in order for the malacha to be complete. And two people that did it are pater. One person needs to do the whole malacha to be chayev. V'yadishul adam chashuv alei kedalit al dalit. And a person's hand is important to him like it's 4 by 4 tvachim. V'yadishul adam eina loike rishus hayachid v'loike rishus rabim. And a person's extended hand when he's in one rishus and his hand in another isn't like a rishus hayachid and not like a rishus rabim. It's not like an either rishus, not where he is and not the rishus it's extended into. So these are 5 things Tosfos mentions that we learn from this Mishnah. So this answer is saying that the Tana is not keeping the order of chronology. He's keeping a different order by putting Eitzah first, and that is putting first something which is dear to him, because we learn many things from it. And all 5 of these things will be discussed at length in the Gemara. Now Tosfos presents 2 answers by Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam Mefarish, and Rabbeinu Tam explains the Dover Ohiva. That's something that happens often. It's common for the Gemara to teach first. So he's once again keeping the same type of answer as the Riva, that over here we're not keeping the order of chronology. Chronology is the rest of the Mishnayos. However, Eitzah was taken out of that order and placed first, and the reason is because Dover Ohiva Rogel Shas L'Shanas Tchila. Something that happens often, it's common for the Shas to teach it first. And now Tosfos is going to present two precedences where we see that the Shas takes the order of what happens first. What happens often comes first. V'chein b'mesechtes Bava Kama, and also Mesechtes Bava Kama. Hashar v'abar hamav v'hever. It says Hashar v'abar hamav v'hever. Those are the 4 avos nezikin. V'leinokat kaseder parsha, and he doesn't take them like the order in the parsha. And Tosfos is explaining here that the order rather is an order of what's most common, and the damage of Hashar is the most common, and that's why it's placed first. V'chein mefarish of Hai. And so does Rav Hai explain regarding the 4 that needed to think, and Perakei Raya, 4 people that need to bring a carbon toida that went through a crisis. He explains over there the Leinokat Hashas Keseder Pasuk, that the Gemara didn't take them like the order of the Pasuk. Rav Hai explains that it's based on what's most common comes first. The crisis that's most common was taught over there first, because over there he doesn't take them in the order of the parsha. So that's the second answer of Tosfos, with the support that the Tana over here is taking Eitzah out of the regular order, placing it first, because it's normal for the Tana to place first something that happens often, something which is common. And Tosfos brings 2 precedences for this. And the last and final answer by Rabbeinu Tam, then furthermore, Mefarish Rabbeinu Tam explains the Pasach b'Yitziyos that he opened up with carrying Mishum de Boy Lemeimar leYetza Chayt b'Machte, because he wanted to teach that a tailor may not go out with his needle. Here Tosfos is saying that the Tana is only keeping the order of chronology. There's no other order involved here. And the reason why Eitzah was placed first, even though it doesn't fit in the order of chronology, it's an order that we should be able to teach the teaching that a tailor is not allowed to carry his needle on Erev Shabbos. Why can't he carry his needle on Erev Shabbos? What's going to be the problem? Because he might come to carry on Shabbos. So first we need to know that there's an Isser to carry on Shabbos and what that Isser consists of. And now Tosfos is going to support this answer by addressing a question on it. But just to bring out what this answer is, that he's keeping the order of chronology, and only in order to understand the din of a tailor going out with his needle, that's why he taught the dinim of Eitzah first. And now Tosfos supports it by addressing the question, even though he didn't teach the Isser of laundry because the din of not giving clothing to the launderer. He's going to teach us that on Erev Shabbos a person can't give clothing to the launderer. Don't we first have to know the Isser of doing laundry? He didn't either teach the Isser of making a fire because of the din, and may one cover things on Erev Shabbos in order to keep them warm. So even though he didn't teach those other things, says Tosfos, he needed to teach carrying more than the others. Mishum the malacha gruihi, because it's a weak malacha. The other malachas we don't need to teach, because it's understandable that a person can't give it to the launderer. Doing laundry is Asar on Shabbos. A person can't cover certain things because making a fire is Asar on Shabbos. However, Eitzah carrying is a weak malacha. Like Tosfos says, like I will explain in the last Tosfos on our Mishnah. And therefore, the dinim of Eitzah need to be taught first. Just to bring out, in one regard, we see that Eitzah is a weak malacha, that there's no change in the item. It's just moved from one place to another. And with that, we have the whole Tosfos. So to summarize, Tosfos began with a question, which he supported, which is that the order in our Masechta should have been an order of chronology. Eitzah should not have been taught here. He gives 3 answers. The first answer is that Eitzah is being taken out of order, being placed here, because it's dear to the Tana, since it has a lot of dinim in it. The Tana wanted to teach it first. And Tosfos brings down the things that are taught in this Mishnah that are a significant number of items. He mentions 5 things. The next answer is that Eitzah is taken out of order, and the reason is because it's hoive, it's very common. And since it's very common, the Tana put it first, and Tosfos brings 2 precedences where we find that the Tana does this. And the third answer in Tosfos is that the Tana is keeping the order of chronology, and the only reason Hitzah was taught here is in order that we can understand the din of Erev Shabbos that results from the Isser of Hitzah. And Tesa supports it and says that even though we don't teach all the other Isurim of Shabbos that result in dinim on Erev Shabbos, says that's only because Hitzah is a weak malacha, therefore it has to be taught.